Say happy birthday to great grandpa. Really? He's gonna see this. Say happy birthday to grandpa.
Happy birthday to grandpa! Happy birthday, grandpa!
Go.
Happy birthday, grandpa! Happy birthday, great grandpa! Happy birthday, great grandpa!
Say it.
Happy birthday, great grandpa!
Cheers, cousin. Cheers, cousin. Happy birthday, grandpa.
Many more, you old fart. Oh, big time.
I need that!
Haston, happy birthday, and I think I'll probably be around for your next 90th birthday.
Hi, Dad. Happy birthday.
90th birthday.
Happy 90th birthday.
And tell him your favorite story about him. Don't say anything about him being so old and crusty.
I'm Wayne.
Happy birthday, Grandpa. The only thing I kind of remember is that when I asked for your daughter's hand in marriage, you scared me half to death. Happy birthday.
You're third to the oldest. What do I remember about Dad? Really strict. Brenda.
When I was growing up is that we had a long table, and when we ate dinner, everybody got to sit down at the table except Robert and I. We always had to stand up at the table to eat our meals.
Because there wasn't enough chairs.
Moved out, and then we actually had a chair.
All right. I remember making a lot of noise in the church, getting the evil eye from Grandpa. And then pretty much disappearing from the building after that.
Crazy.
But Grandpa, we love you very much. Happy 90th birthday.
Excellent. And your name?
Daniel Wayne Gwynn.
There it is.
I'm Wayne.
My name's Christina Hansen, and I remember Grandpa last when I was about 10 over in the house in Eureka. So I love you. Happy birthday, Grandpa.
Tracy.
Tracy Johnson, and I remember also the house in Eureka with the barn in the back. Happy birthday, Grandpa.
Happy birthday, Grandpa.
Hi, Uncle Haston. I'm Linda Wilcox, Jill's daughter, and my most precious memory of you is walking up. The first time I ever saw you, I thought you were so handsome.
And nobody ever says that about you.
Glad I got to meet you the past 2 years, and I love you.
Your name?
Chelsea Wynn.
Hi. When I was a kid and Uncle Haston was preaching, I used to tell him that I always wanted him to marry me when I got older. And he used to tell me, I can't marry you because I'm already married. And Aunt Velma would be really, really upset. Like, no, I want you to marry me when I marry somebody else. And we would get in this big old discussion. So I used to get mad at him about that.
That's
so
awesome.
Happy birthday, Uncle Haston. I love you very, very much.
All right. One fond memory I have, one of many, was when I'd be out on a date with a certain girl, and I'm always taking her home. I have a flat on the car that he gave me, a 48 Chevy Coupe. You remember that one? And I'd have to call him in the middle of the night to come change my flat on the Oakland Freeway.
That's a good one.
Yeah. But he always showed up, and somehow he found a tire that would go on there.
Awesome. I know you got like 10 more.
Oh, gee, many, but I can't think of all of them.
We'll catch some more later.
My name is Robert Farr. I am the 6th of 7 kids in the Farr family. And my memories of Dad when he wasn't beating my backside, I don't know why. I think it was always Earl's fault, but I always got the blame somehow. But anyway, let's see, I can remember getting to go to work with Dad, and he was doing some concrete work, and I got to help move the concrete blocks and watch him out there on the tractor. But one of the best memories, I was 4 years old. We lived in Missouri, and Dad had the wagon and the 2 mules, and so he had me get up in the front of the wagon and take the team of mules real slow while he shoveled manure. Well, you knew where he'd throw the manure. I kept feeling it hit the back of my leg. And So, you know, he's got this whole wagon to throw the manure in, but no, he throws it all the way in the front and gets me in the leg. And then he sees a rabbit. And he told me, run home and get the .22 rifle. So I ran home, got the .22 rifle. I was 4. And got the .22 rifle, brought it back, handed it to Dad. He shot the rabbit, and then I can remember carrying the rabbit and the rifle back to the house for Mom to clean for dinner that night.
Awesome.
So, that's cool. Yeah. So I don't know too many 4-year-olds that today we would allow to have access to a loaded rifle. But I knew, I had been taught what not to do. So that's always a good memory for me.
That's awesome. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Pops.
I remember the father being a real fiery preacher.
I remember that too. Any funny stories about that old man?
No.
He's 90. He's not
He was
gonna
always
hurt you.
funny. No, but he was always a good preacher, babe. That's all I ever knew about Grandpa. He was just a really good preacher.
That's true.
Hi, great grandpa. It's Chelsea. My best memory is your 90th birthday and spending it with you.
Wow.
Cheers.
Maybe a better memory?
My funny little story about Grandpa. When he was pastoring in Pittsburgh and he was preaching, I set his pocket watch for 12 o'clock because he had a tendency to go over. And so at 12 o'clock the alarm went off and he knew right who to look at. And that's my funny little story.
And you are?
His daughter, Brenda.
All right.
I remember that story. We came up to something and said, Mom, I wrecked the car. And she's like, oh, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. She's like, well, hold on, let me get your dad.
No!
No!
Where's Natty?
I'm Wayne.
Right now, go ahead.
I remember one time I wrecked the car. And it was just a simple little accident. A little dent in the back quarter panel. And I get home and I run and I tell Mom, you know, Mom, I had an accident. She goes, boy, your dad finds out when he gets home, you're in a lot of trouble. So I waited, and Dad comes driving in. I went out and saw Dad. I said, Dad, you see what Mom did to the car?
Yes!
You know that woman? Before you get in the house, I said, no, Dad, I did it.
Nice. Way to soften the blow.
Yeah.
And we were all at somebody's house after church because my dad was wearing his Sunday suit, and my brothers and sisters were up in a tree, like in a tree house playing, and I was running around the yard with the water hose, and my dad came out and told us time to go home, and I squirted him with the water hose.
Oh my God.
I told you it was funny at the moment.
I do that to my mom every once in
But
a while.
then I don't remember anything after that.
Then you just went black.
I just blacked out. So that's with Brenda. I remember when I was little and we lived in Missouri, and we went to a school. It was a kindergarten to 12
Oh wow.
school
Wow.
in Missouri.
That's
So we
crazy.
all rode the bus together, and then it was like maybe a 3-story building type thing, and the cafeteria was down. And I remember Brenda went into the cafeteria, and she went to the milk machine. They had a machine where you put your nickel in and get milk. And it seems like, if I remember right, she got a whole bunch of chocolate milk, and she didn't like chocolate milk. She wanted white milk.
Uh-huh.
And she got this, I mean, it just put it in there, and
It just all dumps
these
out.
milks come dumping out. So that one I remember. If I remember it
My
right.
mom said you guys lived in a shack or something.
We lived in a shack, and it was a shack. It was like a tool shack.
I've heard about this place.
This place, it was like that wall, that fence. You could see outside. And you could see the snow on the ground outside.
You guys are just in there.
And it was bad. And you go and we had an old hand pump in the kitchen.
Oh, wow.
To get your water and stuff, you had to do an old hand pump.
At least it was in the kitchen.
It was in
Yeah,
the
you didn't have to go outside.
Yeah, but yeah, it was a pretty good time.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's little memories like that that you always remember.
Yeah, yeah.
So pass along.
That's right.
I'm done.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Dad!
I'm Wayne.
Okay, Dad, hurry up, get over here, make a wish and blow it out. Yay!
Okay, bite the corner right there.
Yeah, that's right. $50 for your birthday?
Videotaping.
Ooh, let me see. Wow, penny. Can you believe that? And it's counterfeit.
Monopoly money.
And everybody's feeling good. And all the great gifts.
was way up there.
And I do thank each and every one of
Oh my goodness, you're as tall as I am.
you. It just makes me feel humble to have such a great family and
How come you're
friends.
heavier than your sister?
Takes me 90 years to do it, but I've done it.
Ready? Here we go. How come you can't get
Better late than
And
never.
God bless all of you.
Come here, let's try your sister.
You're a pretty good girl when you're asleep.
You don't know my dreams.
Yeah, I should have said when you're not dreaming bad dreams.
Okay, this is great. I'm so glad you had a good birthday.
Yeah, I appreciate this deeply. I was no wise expected all the good gifts that you gave. But the Lord must have whispered in your ears that
It
this
looks
could
like
be
you're
you.
crying. It looks like you're crying.
Hi. I'm Mike Farr.
Mike Farr.
My dad is Robert Farr.
All righty. All righty. I'm your great aunt then.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I meet a lot of my folks that I didn't know before.
Right? You guys, tell me a little bit of stories about each other.
Well, only thing I know shouldn't be put on camera. It's something other that you really truthfully want to keep in the dark. You know? And don't open that door unless it's emergency.
Well, let's make it easy
Let's
then.
pray for him.
You're right. Yeah. I'll bow our heads now.
Lord help that poor guy.
Well, why don't you tell me who she is for the camera?
This is my favorite sister.
Is that just because she's sitting here?
No.
Okay.
We were always together. We always did things together. And if she wasn't getting me in trouble, we were having fun.
Nothing wrong with that. And how much older are you than she?
Well, now that's a good question. They say that I would be 2 years and about 2 months or so. But I don't really, that holds true. I think if you really flopped it around like it should be, it would be in reverse. That she's older than I. You see, for one thing, look at her. She's gray-headed.
And you are silver-haired.
Well, no, I'm blonde.
Blonde. Towhead blonde, yes.
No. But I tell you, we did have a lot of fun, a lot of things together.
Can you tell me one specific story that stands out?
Well, that's hard to say because in mine, most all of the things that we did stands out in my mind. I mean, we got in trouble together. We created things together. And we just enjoyed life together.
Fantastic.
But I think one thing stands out in our mind. When our mother was sick, we take care of her together.
Ah.
Until she passed away. We gave her medicine. We did what we could as children. We did that together, take care of my mother. That has always stood out in my mind.
That's pretty cool. And just so the video knows, what was your mother's name?
Lillian Gertrude Farr.
And how old was she? How old would she be today? What year was she born in?
Oh my, she was 36 when she died.
Not just that, but now it's
She's about 36 years old.
I think she was 36. But in what year that she was born, I'd have to count back.
You have to count back, yeah.
Yeah.
Count back 36 years, 1936.
There you go. Wow.
So it's close to
1900. That's awesome.
I can say she was still a young woman.
Yeah, 36.
Yeah. At these times. Of course, in that time, she was considered older.
Right.
Because people did not live or was able to take care of themselves physically as they do now.
Right.
And so there's not so much I can say.
Right.
I was only 10 when she passed away.
Oh my goodness, so you guys were really young when you were taking care of her.
10, 12.
Wow. What did she die from?
Pneumonia.
Pneumonia? That's amazing. Because today that would be something most people wouldn't die from, especially at 36 years old.
Pneumonia then was so almost certain death.
Wow.
There's no percent. Really isn't thing to find.
Wow. That's amazing. But we'll switch gears a little bit. I'm going to go on.
He should be ashamed of. We had a neighbor lady that was really mental off. In her home, they had bars on the windows so she couldn't get out. Well, in front of our house, there's a sweet potato patch. So they took her out and put her out there to pick up sweet potatoes. What did my little brother do? He got on the fence and shot. She was bent over picking up potatoes. He got a bean shooter. He shot her. That lady she was kind of a large lady.
Right.
She took after him, and it didn't take him long to disappear.
That's a good story.
But that was like being gone with the wind.
And we'd also this lady that I said had bars on the window, and we could go by there going to school or going to church. And she always stuck a lot of gum, and she put it on the windowsill, through the bars. We went by and we asked, I can't think her name, can we have some gum? Yes. And we got some gum, and she cussed us out. Oh, I don't know. They just some things that wasn't nice. But us kids didn't.
It's still funny though. It's always nice to get a glimpse of what he might have been like 100 years ago.
Yeah. But, you know, growing up 100 years ago, 90 years ago, 88 years ago, things are so different.
That's what I think is so amazing, really, is like I'm filming you with this little tiny camera that takes such great video, and I can do so much with it digitally, which is something that wasn't even fathomable back then. But you guys still live in that age and this age, so for you to have seen all the progression, it's always amazing. Like I've asked Grandpa before, it's like, you know, what's it like having gone through basically all the technology phase, or like everything, and just be like, yeah, you know, I've seen it all. Where I'm like, I read about it, you know.
Oh, the change has been tremendous. I don't like the change.
No.
Back when we were growing up, you didn't get bought toys. You made your own entertainment.
Yeah, that's right. You had to be creative and play. Where today, they just hand you a phone or something and you play with it.
Toys that they play with one time and they play with them.
Right.
But what we did was, you know, like back swings and seesaws and jump, hopscotch and marbles and balls and jacks. And
yeah, simple stuff.
Those tomahawks. You know, things that you can make and have more fun. We had a lot more fun than kids do now.
Oh, I believe that.
If our life story was put in a book, it would be amazing.
We should do that.
No, because I wasn't. He was the perfect one, the perfect one. He was never around.
We remember and rehearse it. It would be, in some instances, it would be unbelievable.
A top seller.
I think that we could probably do something like that. That's partly why I'm doing this video for everybody. But like, I think that would be very, very interesting to do, because I meet a lot of my friends' grandparents and 70s, and they're not super lucid, they don't remember a lot of stuff, and to meet both of you, who at 88 and 90 are completely 100% lucid and can talk to you and remember things. But I'm going to ask you one question. You guys can both answer separately or together. At your age, what is the best advice you could give to your friends and family, having lived such a great life?
Stay positive, honest, and serve God.
I didn't catch that.
So, being that you're 90 years old and have lived such a great life and have all these great people around you, what's the best advice you would give them today about living life?
Well, the main thing on my part is to be honest with other people, and what you receive, do your best that it would be in an honest way and not walk the ways of the world, but walk the ways according to the scriptures, and you will be able to have a better life, because God in His Word said that He would take care of His own. Like David said, I was old, or I was young, and now I'm old. And He'd never seen that God's people go begging bread. So my advice would be, is everyone come to the realization they are here for a purpose, and that is to serve and please God. And then you will have life more abundant.
Awesome.
And I'd like to say that my prayer is that God will be put back in His place, because God has been shut out of everything, and I think that's why our country is in shaking today.
I would agree.
They've turned their back on God.
Yes. Yeah, they stripped him out of everything.
That's right.
So, follow-up question, sorry. What's the most important thing you've learned in life since, like, the most important, like the one takeaway from life that you could really can grasp it at your age, having gone through all these wonderful things, most important thing that you learned?
What do we have learned this late time of year? And
Just in your entire life, like what's the most valuable thing that you've learned, or what's the most valuable thing to you, having seen everything that's happened in your life and like being at the age that you're at now? What's the best thing that you've learned, or do you understand what I'm trying to say? I'm trying to phrase it properly through. Yeah. So what's the best thing about life for you?
well, the best thing about life to me is love everybody and serve God.
Perfect. Simple.
That is my whole life.
That's awesome.
And we have a wonderful family. Mine gets together like this 3 or 4 times a year.
That's awesome.
And we have a good time together, and most of them are Christians. And always have prayer.
Good. Grandfather?
For myself, I would say be yourself. Whether it is in being poor or being moderately wealthy, and realizing that everything that I receive comes from above.
Awesome. Say happy birthday, Grandpa.
Thank you.
Such a pleasure. Thank you so much. Do that again with the camera on because
that was pretty good.
Say it again.
I really don't know what to say. But get out of my hair.
How many siblings were there in your family?
7.
7.
One dead.
One dead. Everybody else is still alive?
No.
No.
He and me and my other sisters on one side.
And
I lost 2 brothers and 2 sisters.
Okay, and what were their names?
The girls, the oldest was Opal Lee, Gussie Mae, and the boys was Archie and Milford.
And then, of course, this guy. That's all the boys? Those are the ones that have passed?
That's the ones passed.
And the ones that are alive are?
Hasten, Jewel, and Gertrude.
All right. And your mother and father's names?
They're dead.
What were their names?
Thomas Wilburn, Farr, and Lillian. You said Gertrude. I didn't know that.
Lillian Gertrude.
And what were your grandparents' names?
Oh, gee.
I really don't know.
I have heard them, but it's been so long I don't remember them.
Wow.
I saw my grandmother, at least one of them, one time, but I do not know if it was my mother or my father.
It's your father. His name was John Farr, I believe. And hers, I can't remember what it is, but that was Papa's mother and daddy lived there in Alabama.
In those days, especially in our case, we did not associate or was around our people.
Oh.
We were kindly cast out, somewhat.
Well, my mother was part Indian, and I think Papa's family kind of didn't care for her.
Oh.
And Indians my favorite people.
So that is, what kind of Indian was she? Cherokee, really? I did not know that.
And Milford went and had a stone put on her grave as Cherokee Indian.
Wow.
And when did they pass away before?
Pardon?
How old were you guys when they passed away?
Which one?
Your grandma and your mom and dad.
I was 10 when Mama passed away. And Papa passed away the same year that my husband did in 1964.
Oh, wow.
My husband passed away in October and Papa passed away then the 1st of December, same year. And then 5 years ago, my second husband passed away and my oldest son passed away the same month.
Oh my goodness.
So I've seen a lot of...
Yeah. Well, that's another whole other video section, but I mean, that's awesome. I do have one fun fact that I have to get into the camera for this one. I was doing some research and I found out that now both of you, I didn't know how old you were, but I know how old you are now. Both of you are actually older than sliced bread. Sliced bread was invented 85 years ago. sliced bread. So you guys are actually older than sliced. I just thought it was funny.
That is funny, because I don't like sliced bread. I like biscuits.
And it makes sense because you're older than sliced bread.
I can understand that because the first time that I ever ate any loaf of bread, you had
to slice it yourself. Right, exactly. And that's how they invented sliced bread. People tried to slice it and sell it, but it would get crispy, like crumbly. So this guy invented 85 years ago. Yeah, a way to slice and package the bread at one time so that it would stay soft. And you guys are older than that, so that's my fun fact. So what do you think about everybody coming out for your 90th birthday?
I think it was outstanding.
I do too.
They really didn't realize what they were doing until they got here, and then they wished they hadn't. I'm Wayne.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Dad. Happy birthday to you.
And many more.
Ooh, 90.